Good day, everyone. Welcome. This Saturday, July 11th, is the feast of St. Benedict of Nursia. I have always felt a connection to St. Benedict since we have something in common. We both have siblings born on the same day. Although I am an identical twin, and St. Benedict was a fraternal twin, there is still a connection we share with siblings that is unique. My brother and I remain close even after more than 60 years. St. Benedict remained close to his twin sister, St. Scholastica, throughout their whole lives. It is even said that when St. Scholastica died, Benedict saw a vision of her soul ascending into heaven like a dove. He declared to his fellow monks that she had died. And later the news arrived that indeed she had passed at the very time of his vision. St. Benedict is an important figure in the history of Catholic tradition. He is considered the father of monasticism in the Western Church. His rule has been used as the basis of almost all religious communities' rules of life. He at first sought to be a hermit and live alone in the high mountains south of Rome, in a cave, in a valley called SJPII. He soon drew followers who admired his way of life, his discipline, and his holiness. They begged him to form a monastery and be their abbot. There are now 2 monasteries at SJPII. A larger one a little down the hill from the cave where Benedict lived for 3 years, and one built on that very remote spot. They are considered one monastery community, even though they are some distance apart. Visiting that monastery is inspiring, especially when you must walk the last little way up the steep mountain path because the cars no longer fit on the road. You can imagine the isolation Benedict sought and the peace he felt. Benedict, however, responded to the call to lead the group who was quickly gathering around him, begging for his leadership. He wanted them to find that same peace, even though he knew they were all quite different personalities. His rule called for them to all live in harmony by maintaining balance in their lives. The motto he gave all religious communities based on his rule is, in Latin, ora et labora, or in English, prayer and work. He advocated a balance between these priorities in life. Actually, reading his rule, you discover that he asked for a threefold division of the day: 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of prayer. This division can make sense as a healthy lifestyle until you try to add the demands of a family or ministry. One of the benefits that has come out of the COVID-19 crisis is that without the need to commute, doctors are reporting that Americans are catching up on our sleep. Most Americans prior to this crisis were not getting near their recommended 8 hours of sleep per night. Working from home has, for many people, enabled at least one healthy habit. Looking at the other 2/3 of the day, it would be hard to imagine that any one of us could spend 8 hours a day in prayer, even during the COVID-19 crisis. Life has just too many demands. However, St. Benedict's main point, balance, should not be lost. The modern world has placed demands on us far beyond what St. Benedict could have imagined. He was talking to a group of men without families who wanted to forsake the world. Often during this stay-at-home period, working from home means working longer than 8 hours because the boundaries between work and home are blurred. Family at home also means more demands on our time. That is a good thing, as many have reported discovering the need for dedicated family time. Even with more time at home, we find maintaining a balance difficult. I think the key here is the prayer part of the balance. Eating is essential. Exercise is essential. Sleeping is essential. Prayer is essential. Even though we often act as if prayer were a luxury or an indulgence, we need to pray, or else a portion of our person shrivels. Prayer is not just one more thing added to the demands of the day. It is the glue that holds it all together. Without prayer, our relationship with God falters. God never forgets us, but we easily forget God. When we do forget or omit God from a large part of our lives, we lose our best self. Without an ongoing, growing relationship with God, our true potential can never be reached. We may have success in our careers. We may have a nice home and a family. We have many things filling our lives. But without God, happiness will always elude us because we are out of balance. The happiest people I have met are often the holiest. Not that they walk around like saints on display, but that they are the most prayerful. Each of us needs that one-on-one relationship with God. But that does not happen overnight. Just like any human relationship, our relationship with God needs to grow over time. Our ability to pray changes as we gain experience. What prayer means to each of us changes as well. As we grow in our ability to pray, we need prayer more. And that deeper need for prayer actually enables the balance of our lives to happen more easily, or at least allows us to cope better when life is out of balance. Besides the individual relationship with God, we also need to pray together. Husbands and wives need to pray together. It is a sure way to strengthen your marriage. Families need to pray together. Children will never discover their own relationship with God unless they are introduced to God through family prayer. And we need to pray together as a church. Even in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, we need each other as the church. We have all become desperately aware of our need to connect by phone or internet with those we love. We as a parish desperately need you, if not in person, at least online, or at the very least in your prayers, to connect with us. Please pray for our community, for its needs, and for all within our parish who are suffering from this crisis in any way. You are all in my prayers daily. I need yours as well. Although our community book of prayer cannot be out in the churches at this time, since handling of paper by multiple people is not allowed, please add your prayers to the comment fields when you participate in the online masses. This week, remember St. Benedict. and his call to balance in our lives. Our way of finding balance may look very different from what St. Benedict described for his monks many centuries ago. But we can still heed his advice and remember to balance our lives by putting God first in prayer and allowing God to bring our lives into balance. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and know that we are truly blessed. I remain your pastor, Father Mike.